So this video will not have an end screen, but pause if you want to look at these basically 4 rules. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'll explain them as I go through the video because it's kind of important. And the short version is World of Horror uses very specific case-sensitive code. That's all I'm trying to say here. But as we get into this video, if the thumbnail didn't already let you know, again, one more time, we're not putting an end screen here because I had some stuff to do in the last 12 hours and I did not get everything done that I wanted to get done, which means I had to rush a lot of custom content just for this video. To note, I'll note it again after the timestamp, but nothing you see in this video aside from the character themselves, and I played this character before, but I think it was made by a Chinese creator instead, because obviously the character comes from a place, but as we get into it here, just know that none of the things you see perm-wise exist on the internet, because I have not put it anywhere. So, I forgot where we are. I'm just going to say Cthulhu. So, as we get into Cthulhu Cult, we might have had random item stats, but just to kind of show the item that we have as we go through this. Also, it's not 20%, it's 10%, but yeah, we're working with an item. It functions similarly to the katana, and I literally made everything within an hour. So that's, if you note the graphic here, it is literally just a piece of the chainsaw with the mangled hand status effect put together, and that's all you need to say. That's all you need to see. I forgot how you auto-equip something, and you can basically have it unequipable because there's no other way to. You can't select equip and unequip stuff. So. Yeah, and then I just made it so you can't store it. I think you can replace it, but if that's not allowed, if I can't force you to keep an item equipped in some way, shape, or form, then theoretically speaking, I can basically add a penalty. That's a good little workaround if you need, but I'm pretty sure there might be another way to make things work. Again, I spent the last part of an hour just doing this. Also, we have Recluse, and this character has 4 knowledge, so maybe I just want to do Recluse now. Otherwise, we have Teen Orphan as well, and then Kana. That's... yeah, just take Kana first. So, without further ado, let's get into this run. Again, not too much is happening here. I didn't do anything fancy smancy, which is why I did not show you the code, because literally the chainsaw here works similar to the katana, but it is not. It does not crit and does 5 bonus damage instead. So if you've ever seen that part of the video, I could have added it, but I figure the 4 rules I added at the beginning of the video took precedent. Yeah, it functions like the chainsaw. And then the ally used here actually functions similarly to an ally I've shown you before. Also, my drawing is not the best. Again, I literally just took 15 minutes to reference, and I drew what I drew. But otherwise, so specifically here, doing a strong attack deals extra damage. I don't think we one-shot this. We get very close, but we don't. But, I mean, 4 stamina for that, I don't really mind at the moment. So... to go over the code, however, is that, yeah, the first time, so say you have soft space drink and then soft underscore drink. Those are 2 different things according to World of Horror. If you put an underscore, if you put a dash in between the words, it will not function correctly. An example I can show you on screen is that this hunting rifle, say there's a dash between the hunting rifle, the words of the name, then it will not, I'll click this, but nothing will happen. That's how specific you need to be. Again, this is all things a lot of, I would say about 60% of the people watching or listening to this video right now already know, but you never know, right? So, hey. And then the second one, if I were to wait for Kana here, is that close your quotation marks. I showed you type A equals item. That's 1 line of code that you can have in your custom character. And if you don't close the quotes to that, a status graphic, anything really, even stats, you can get some funny things happening. The worst of all is going to be a crash. So, yeah, not really much else to say there. Oh, that's right, Brown Cultist. For some reason I thought I was on Azal, but anywho, we can throw this hunting rifle at something. So I'm pretty sure if I can re-equip the, yeah, so if I do that, I can add a penalty, but I was a bit lazy, so again, I had to do what I did, and we go into Recluse. So, the third line of code I showed you, and I need to reference the notes here, is that to use parentheses and not like brackets or the, I forgot what the other one is called, but basically you must use parentheses when you are using lines of code that use parentheses. Otherwise, it's hard to really say where. I don't think, aside from like actual non-World of Horror code, and if you don't understand what that means, just basically use parentheses, but you won't use any other types of closing brackets. Also, I did not grab the doll. That's perfectly fine. Why is the chair beneath me complaining? And yeah, we don't get the doll. Well, rip curses. But again, I think all 4 of these rules are things that if you've ever made custom content and played with custom content to an extensive degree, you would have already known these things. But again, if you don't know these things, then no. And then the last piece of it, our last piece of advice code that I put was basically the base world of horror lines of code that are not allowed, because I've seen it in at least a few characters where they tried to add type C and type D. That doesn't work because basically the game only handles type A and type B. Logically speaking, it makes sense to think that you could add more like that, but no, you cannot. So, and maybe you can. You can definitely do so through PERM, and PERM actually gives you a different way. Again, I'm not trying to promote or dissuade against using PERM. That's literally just what we have right now. Oh no, wait, we don't have says. We have Orphan and Teen. All of these are bad. We can take Coma last, so hey. And the reason why Orphan is bad is because Orphan, I think, grants you something. Also, I did not make the ally graphic. I kind of just did it for the you can basically make a blank ally graphic, so there's supposed to be an ally here. But reasonably speaking, the ally that's with you comes along with the character. Although, I was going to test something out. We'll see if I do it in the next episode. Period. That's the end of the sentence. Also, we have a lot of Doom to work with, so all things considered, we're doing relatively well. So, yeah, gameplay-wise. Also, doing 5 bonus damage on a strong attack is quite a lot. I was going to say I had a cough, but... And the reason for that is strong attacks don't do more than double damage anyway, unless you're using Desperate Struggle. So the fact that you can do a strong attack like so, and get a bunch of damage out of it, is pretty good. Also, I made it a strength weapon for immersion reasons, but gameplay or balance-wise, it is quite powerful. To have if your weapon is strength-based, it is probably going to be a lot maybe not a lot better, but it's going to make a difference because it's easier to build into strength, I feel, than most other stats. Especially since other stats have weaknesses. An example of this is Charisma. If you're on a 7th Curse run and you're trying to use Ally Attack, you can't use your Charisma because there are no Charisma weapons, and you can't make use of Ally Attack because only a few allies can survive 7th Curse. Another example is Dexterity. You get flashbacks, you get injuries. There are at least 3 or 4 different status effects that lower Dexterity, as opposed to Strength, which I think has 2, but still, it makes a difference. So, yeah, not really much else to say there. I think we just trade blows here. Kind of lore accurate, right? Just trade blows and do what's best. And I think Perception also has, I think, a few, or I feel like I get hit by a lot of Perception decreases. But at the same time, Perception is not used for pretty much any other combat action, whereas Strength and Dexterity are used for Brace and Dodge, respectively. I'm going to take Knowledge in case... we run into a ghost. But we're going to hold out and try to go for the Restless bonus. And if we die here, well, it's not an excuse for me to end the video quickly, but it will end the video quickly. Now, unfortunately, this character has 7 luck, but luck is such a weird stat that I don't really believe in it. So... another way to say what I wanted to say is that if a stat is between 5 and 8, doesn't matter to me. But unless you have a weapon that scales with the stat. But in this case, luck, there are no luck weapons either. So, yeah, not really much else to say on that. So at this point, we pretty much just rest a lot. Again, a weapon that has this much bonus damage on any action, it could even be kick, especially if it's kick. But, even if it's just regular attacks or strong attacks, it's quite powerful. Fire, that breaks a lot of thresholds HP, enemy HP wise, because as you've heard me say before, I'll say it again, and this encounter will also prove a lot of enemies hover around the in fact, if I hit both of these, I think I just one-shot this. We do. But yeah, a lot of enemies have between 16 and 20. If an enemy has more than 20, or 24 is really the break point, then you usually end up taking another turn to defeat that enemy. And the reason for that is because a lot of common strats you'll use usually weapons, you can't deal more than about 6 to 10 damage per turn. So therefore, if an enemy has 21 HP and you can only deal 10 damage per turn reliably, then you have to take an extra turn to get rid of the enemy. Now, this brings up the topic of being whether or not you want to dodge or brace before, an enemy has 11 HP, so maybe you just throw in a kick instead, and you're like, hey, I can do 10 damage on the third turn. But then on the second turn, I go for a dodge or a thingamajiggy. I also just autopilot it into death. I think if I do this, I can heal because, yeah, this is the case for the other ally as well. I just never used it, but that's really powerful as well. There's no reason for that. Essentially, in the code, I just made the character heal 99 stamina, 99 reason. And by the way, I don't know if that ally ever actually procced. Also, we're fighting a ghost here, so I guess we can throw the hunting rifle, because it deals at least 3 damage specifically. And off we go. So, yeah, without further ado, not really much else to say in this video. I mean, I've shown you everything I can show you. I could show you, but if I forgot to say something, please let me know so I can mention it in the next episode. But otherwise, we can just march up this lighthouse and be perfectly fine. Don't even need to level up. And again, something I said earlier in the video was that I played this character before, because I'm pretty sure, and I feel pretty certain I mentioned it, but I think it was a Chinese creator who made this character as well. So, and the only reason I remember that is because I made an event that had to do with another character. So, as we don't handcuff, because we could handcuff, I mean, would be kind of cool to do, but I'm just feeling particularly lazy. So, yeah, without further ado, if you have anything to say, anything to ask about, so on and so forth, then feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I won't take much more of your time. When this video ends, I mean, it's going to end soon, and I'll see you when I see you. So, yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! It's here I remember that I don't have an end screen. That's why I'm kind of waiting here for a moment. But yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!